Zesty recently made a video advocating against the VScript version of Prop Hunt, a community-made mode where one team is disguised as props and the other side have to find them. Zesty argued that the mode is too different from the base gameplay and therefore should not be added to TF2. The community has generally agreed with this sentiment. However, there is an argument in favor of adding Prop Hunt, assuming the balance issues with the mode are fixed. TF2 has already entered a state of decay. TF2 was once about the gameplay. We got new weapons, bug fixes, quality of life changes, addition of achievements, balance changes, new game modes, and new maps. However, between July 2017 and June 2023, most content added was purely cosmetic, ignoring the purpose of the gameplay to placate the market people who treat the game like VR chat and loiter on trade servers. To cater to people who spend more time scrolling the workshop than actual play the game. These new VScript game modes take us to what TF2 actually is about: gameplay. Prop Hunt fits far more into the gameplay of TF2 than unboxing loot boxes. They provide us with new gameplay experiences using the same game engine and art style. If you are on Red Team in any of the new VScript game modes, you are playing as the same characters with very minimal changes. It introduces more options for the player base, and if it's seasonal, Prop Hunt can be a fun gimmick. These modes are never meant to replace the main game modes, they are a niche. Does the addition of pastime make TF2 worse? Does medieval mode existing means TF2 is dying? Does manpower existing harm anyone playing regular casual maps? No, they provide alternative game modes. Zesty is telling us Prop Hunt will cause major issues for TF2, but none of the other alternative game modes have. If no one plays Prop Hunt, then so be it. Does it matter if there are a few empty TF2 servers? People can criticize Zombie Infection and versus Saxton Hale, but those game modes added gameplay elements. Hats, paints, and unusuals are not gameplay elements, they are solely cosmetic. They serve the market at the expense of gameplay. People have the ability to not interact with alternative game modes, but they do not have the ability to turn off hats. Even with master configuration, you cannot disable cosmetics that have plagued this game for years.
So the first common viewpoint is that TF2 skins deviate too sharply from the game's art style and are too confusing for new players. Skins are meant to be flashy, different from stock. They were designed so people would want to buy them. If Valve stuck to the core art style of the game, do you really think that they could design things that people would want to buy? Still just can't stand skins? Well, there's a handy little feature called DX8 or mods, which can just turn skins off from your game. Voila, skins are gone, and they aren't glaring you in the face anymore. Easy fix, bam. The appearance of skins and how they affect the game's visuals is purely subjective and not grounds for their dismissal as negative. If you don't like how they look, then that's fine, but that doesn't mean that they suck or detract from the game overall.
It would be better if the TF2 developer team prioritized gameplay over new war paints that Zesty can soyjack about. The workshoppers who are making these alternative game modes, adding bug fixes, creating weapons, or content that would add to the gameplay experience are doing something commendable. Even if they fail in this endeavor, they are doing far more for the game than someone who is hyper-fixating on war paints that most players will not use and even fewer will care about one way or another. Zesty mentions popular games dilute themselves to appeal to a large audience, and adding these VScript game modes harm the game. However, looking at player numbers, this is false. TF2 reached its highest player numbers since 2012 in July of 2023 with the summer update. Now, part of that was due to the summer update being the first major update since the summer of 2017, but another factor was the addition of a novel VScript game mode versus Saxton Hale. Team Fortress 2 peaked at 250,000 players. This number is 2 to 3 times greater than the number of players it had in the years prior. Now, this number did go down after the update, however the play number after the update was still higher than before. New and old players came to the game in droves. Many did leave, but a portion stayed. So these updates are growing the long-term player base. We had another peak with the addition of Zombie Fortress at 180,000 players. Each new game mode extends the life of this game ever so slightly. Zesty says these game modes are not the core games, so no one wants to play them. But clearly they are very popular and bring in mass amounts of players. He does clarify that he means in the long term they will die because they are too different from the core game, which can be seen with versus Saxton Hale, but this was probably due to it being placed in the Alternative Game Mode tab. These new game modes are not supposed to be staples for TF2. They are not meant to be long-lasting. They are meant to generate hype for the game and spike the player counts during a specific season. Screen Fortress serves the same function. It's an event the 1 month where TF2 has a large boost in player numbers and content. Many maps in Screen Fortress have spells, pumpkin bombs, bosses, and mini-games which dramatically alter gameplay. If Prop Hunt is added as a winter-restricted game mode, it will serve as a neat quirk that only exists for once a year. It will not harm the game to have a novel take on the game that only exists for a month. Zesty previously made videos against the competitive side of TF2, saying the future of TF2 was a casual game that was laid back. He says TF2 is a place where you can hang out when arguing against comp players.
It's just like this guy said. TF2 is where you can frag, hang out, and have a great time without needing to worry about winning. Competitive players all bailed out for Overwatch and other games some years ago, but we all know how well that worked out for them. They're all back now and want TF2 to be something it isn't.
But now he says TF2 should not be like the chat. Zesty prefers friendlies to competitive players, but Prop Hunt is too far? How is not playing a first-person shooter less of a deviation from the game than Prop Hunt? TF2's popularity is fueled by YouTube videos. With the game not receiving substantial content between 2017 and 2023, there was very little content for these YouTubers to talk about. So we get dozens of videos saying the same things. But these new game modes give us new things to talk and complain about. Prop Hunt existing is great for Zesty content for videos, topics to talk about during stream, which has allowed me to make this video responding to Zesty. As cynical as this sounds, adding these new game modes generates interest in TF2. In the summer update, many TF2 players soy-jacked over a seal model even though the map it was a part of was subpar. These gimmicks create content and controversy and keep the game alive. Should it be different? Perhaps, but that is just the reality.